Yeah, thank you and good afternoon, everyone. This is the hands-on session, so make sure that you have your laptops with you along with the prerequisites. Does everybody has their laptop with them? Okay. So who here has the experience with WordPress plugin development? Yeah. Cool. Okay, so can you raise your hands like how many people have their laptops with them? Okay. You got the charging point score, right? Okay. Okay, so my name is Prashant Bhivsane. I'm working at miniOrange from last 4 years. I've been working in WordPress like for plugin development, theme development. And recently I started working in DLP product like endpoint security. You must have visited our booth at the exhibition hall. So let's see this is my introduction. Basically, I'm a WordPress Core contributor and plugins developer for miniOrange. I've been contributing to WordPress Core for last 2 years, and I've been developing plugins for WordPress for miniOrange for almost 4+ years. Okay. So this is what we will cover today. First of all, we will understand how WordPress plugins are developed. Okay. Next, we will see what are the bad habits, or like what is there the pitfall of WordPress plugin development. What are the bad practices? What are the things that go wrong in the plugin development that can cause financial as well as other losses. Next one will be seeing about the reaction process, like how to avoid these. So the first part is formula integrity. So we will cover security scanning and code analysis. The next one is test automation, like integrating unit test cases for the WordPress plugin development. Next, we will talk about CI/CD, like what CI/CD and how can we leverage CI/CD in WordPress plugin development, specific to WordPress plugin development. This session is about, and then we will see a GitHub action that we will use to deploy a plugin or plugin changes. First, we will see about like pushing the README changes. Like everyone here knows how to make the changes to README files. We do not want to change the entire code; just push the README file so that we'll take a look at it. And after that, we'll have some time for question and answers. Is everything clear? Good. So let's start. So first of all, let's talk about like what is WordPress plugin. So WordPress plugins, like WordPress is a largest CMS, like almost 40% of the web uses WordPress. So what are plugins? Plugins are nothing but extensions. Okay, so WordPress provides you some features like to create a content-based management system. You can create your blogs, you can create an e-commerce store, you can create any kind of website using WordPress, using certain themes or certain plugins. But there are some features, there are some restrictions while using WordPress, like it does not cover the advanced level of security. So in case you need to add two-factor authentication or need to add OTP verification for your WordPress site, you need to extend that functionality. So you have two options here. You can either write your code directly into the WP like WordPress files as WordPress files. And the second option is like you can create a custom plugin suitable for your requirements, or you can use any existing plugin that is available on the WordPress repository. So we generally do not call WordPress repository as a WordPress marketplace because WordPress is a open source content-based management system, right? So anyone can create their plugin, anyone can download that, and anyone can be a contributor of that plugin. So that is the basic underline of WordPress plugin. Like WordPress plugins lets you add, modify, or extend the functionality using one or more PHP functions. So as we already know, WordPress uses PHP, right? And we have some hooks to add some functionality or extend our functionality of existing WordPress. Then there are 3 reasons why should we develop WordPress plugins. Okay, so the first one is customization. We get to customize according to our requirements. So like we discussed about e-commerce store, let's take an example of e-commerce store. I want to create an e-commerce store using WordPress. So using plain WordPress, it is not possible to create an e-commerce store. So we have an additional plugin for that, like WooCommerce. So we can then use WooCommerce to create an e-commerce store, and then we have multiple options like to integrate say payment gateway, to have some OTP verification to prevent duplicate orders or spam orders or fake orders basically. Then if you want to have your users to have an option of second factor authentication, like you want them to log in with OTP or something else as well along with the password, then you can add 2FA plugin. These are the options, and we have other features as well, such as like if you want your users to use single sign-on using SAML or any other protocol or standard, we have an option, or we have a plugin for that as well. So WordPress plugins let us customize everything in the WordPress, right from the look, feel, and the functionality. Right, like you can create your users on the run, or many things like that. The second reason of developing WordPress plugins is innovation. So you have a lot of opportunity to innovate something. So everyone here might have heard about Web3, right? NFTs and Web3. So what is innovation over here? So there are some plugins which we can use, or which we can install, or which we can develop as well to convert your existing Web2 store. Like if you have an existing online store, such as, for example, Facebook, Flipkart.com, that is developed using WordPress, for an example. So you can use some plugins such as NFT plugins or NFT market plugins that will allow you to sell NFTs on your existing store as well. So you have two options. You can create an entirely new store for your NFTs, or you can use existing physical store, like existing online store, and put some NFT products over that. So you have a lot of opportunity to innovate. The third one is opportunity to have financial gain. So as we know, like there are many plugins on WordPress which provide a lot of functionality, but some functionality is restricted. So user have to upgrade their account or purchase a premium license. For example, if I'm using a two-factor plugin, for basic version, I'll be able to use the OTP over SMS. But if I want to use anything other than OTP or SMS, such as fingerprint authentication or Google Authenticator or something, some else method, or I would like to customize it accordingly to my use case, then I'll have to purchase the premium version of that plugin. So some developers have their own custom licenses that can be used to incorporate all additional features for a particular cost. So generally these plugins are priced per year or per month, or the pricing is based on user based or the instance based. So we consider one instance or one installation of WordPress as one instance, and one user who is using the WordPress site. It can be a user, simple user, or administrator, or subscriber, or author of any role that can be considered as a user. So it lets you have some opportunity for financial gain. So as we discussed about, like WordPress adds up to 40% of entire web. Okay, so there are 40% of web. There are a lot of websites that are built using WordPress, and still there is no decline in the usage of WordPress even after the introduction of Shopify, Magento, and other CMSs. There is still no decline in the usage of WordPress. So we have a lot of opportunity to have financial growth over there. So if you are able to tick all these three boxes, like if your plugin is offering a lot of customization, it has some kind of innovation, then we certainly have a lot of opportunity to have a financial growth as well. So there are a few people I know of in the WordPress community. The sole earning, they are a sole earner of their family, and that is because of selling a WordPress plugin. So selling a premium version of WordPress plugins basically. So they are selling some kind of subscription as well, or some are selling the lifetime licenses as well. So we have a lot of to do over here. So after that, what are the bad habits in any development? So as we discuss about, like in a company, there are many people, and if a company is developing one plugin, that is not exactly the case. There are a few people, somewhere 10 to 15 people who work on the same plugin or different functionality of the same plugin. So we all come from diverse backgrounds, diverse mindsets, or diverse approaches. Like we follow different kind of standards. We follow we all have different kind of coding standards to be followed, or not everyone might be aware about the coding standards. So lack of standardization in the WordPress plugin development is the biggest bad habit, or the worst habit we can call as. So lack of standardization due to diverse backgrounds and no enforced standards. Generally, in a startup or in a small company, the customer, like the customer who is looking for something, or if a customer has some requirements, we usually tend to develop that solution as early as possible just to receive the payment or just to make the customer happy. But we ignore about all the security measures or all the development measures, and we sometimes miss out on a test case, or some things like that happen. So lack of standardization is the worst habit in WordPress plugin development or any development per se. The second one is the development process typically begins with incorporating absent features, like something that's not in the plugin earlier, but someone has identified that and is trying to add that. So this is the start of a WordPress plugin. It usually starts with developing a feature in existing plugin, and later we decide that this can entirely be a new plugin. So that is not always the case that code quality and practices are being followed. So it follows in a wide range. First one is like a few people like to adhere to best standards that are set by WordPress. The second one is some people might be using outdated techniques, like they are using some standards, but those are outdated. Like they are not pretty familiar with the latest standards or latest improvements in the standards or coding techniques, basically. Third one is haphazardly copying code. So a lot of us try to copy the codes from Stack Overflow, and now it's time for ChatGPT. So the code quality suddenly declines, and we open a window for a lot of vulnerabilities and security issues. The next one is like developers might not prioritize security best practices in pursuit of adding more features, leading to risk to users. That always leads to financial loss or user data loss. Like if you're not able to follow the security practices, it will lead either to financial loss or data loss. Okay, so that's these are the bad habits, like which are the prominent ones in the WordPress plugin development, and that has been observed quite a few times. So, like how to break these bad habits? Okay, so for every action there is a reaction. So this is a reaction. Like what should we do? Like this is a set of things we need to do. The first one is standardization of the code and development processes. So how can we standardize the code? We can use Git, or what happens is like when someone develops a plugin, they usually share that plugin using a zip, like to other developer or to their customers as well. Like premium plugins are being sent or being shared over a zip, or we directly install those premium plugins on the customer site, and we do not have any record of that. So for that purpose, we need to have a source control, such as Git, or we can use GitHub to maintain our source, or we can use Bitbucket as well. Then we need to follow the security practices, such as like using PHP-CS. Does everyone know about PHP-CS? Right? So PHP-CS is a PHP code sniffer. Like what a code sniffer does is like it sniffs your code and it smells about vulnerabilities, like probable vulnerabilities. Like if you are not following any certain standard, like if you're not sanitizing your input, or if you're not cleaning your output, these coding mistakes are detected by code sniffers. So PHP has its own code sniffer called as PHP-CS, and WordPress has a coding standard, set of standards that needs to be followed while developing for WordPress, be it a theme, plugin, or for a WordPress website, like customizing in the WordPress itself. The next best way is to have peer code reviews and collaboration. So we usually work with a team, and in a team, there are quite a few experienced people who can help us with code reviews. So we need not to look after those issues again and again. So even if we are testing something, we might miss something. So that can be caught by those peers or other developers. The fourth one is workflows for plugin version releases. So now the plugin version or plugin release process of WordPress is a bit hectic or a bit manual. Like we need to create new tags, and we need to push that to the SVN, and sometimes we need to create a zip and upload that to our website. So this this is a wastage for all the developers who are working on the plugin, because their valuable time can be used to adding more features or making the plugin more usable, user-friendly, or other or priority development tasks. So what is the best way? So we can integrate DevSecOps for WP plugin development. So what is DevOps? First one is like development operations, like right from development to deployment, all the things are automated. So the same philosophy with security, we can incorporate for WP plugin development or the WordPress plugin development. So what is the security part over there? We can automate the PHP CSS security test. It runs same like the PHP unit test, but that are some different. So we can incorporate those as well along with the PHP unit test. Okay, so do you have like someone? Does someone has any questions right now? Any kind of question? Was it too fast, or you would you like me to repeat something or go back to something? It's fine. Okay. Okay, so this is a WordPress plugin called Yoast SSO. This is the existing plugin of Yoast. This is the most popular plugin on the WordPress repository for improving the SSO of your SEO of your website. So what we have to do is like, does anyone has access to their GitHub? So we will be having a hands-on session now. Does anyone have access to their laptop or GitHub account? Or do you have any plugin in your GitHub repository? Okay. So have you set up actions before in WordPress? GitHub actions for WordPress plugin or any repository or any kind of. Okay. So you are not allowed to do that. Okay. So how should we proceed? If just get an SVN. Then get an SVN. SVN is for WordPress plugins. They use SVN. WordPress plugins are based on their source repository uses SVN. We are not public to use. Yes. Do you have any plugin that you have developed? You can do one thing. You can make a fork of existing plugin in your profile or in your workspace. Have something plugin making copy? Yes, you can use this plugin itself, MB Yoast SSO. You can fork this repository. Okay. Well, so you can fork a repository called as Yoast SEO. So you need to fork that. Let's spell it. Okay. YOAST hyphen SEO. Yoast SEO. So the prerequisite was like you have your own plugin or you have access to your own plugin or you are committer of a particular plugin. That was the prerequisite. Yeah. Okay. So we have a WordPress plugin here. This is the source code for that. And now we will be adding a GitHub action that will release the this WordPress plugin to the SVN. We are not actually releasing the plugin, but we will executing all the workflow. So first, we need to add our secrets to this repository. So we'll go to the code. So we need git SVN and username, SVN username and SVN password to be able to push those changes to SVN. So we need to configure those secrets over here. We have an option for settings. Then in security, under security, we have an option for secrets and variables. And we need to configure our secrets and variables for GitHub actions. So we will be clicking on these actions. Okay, so as you can see, there are already a couple of secrets over here. Yeah. No, we will not be actually pushing the plugin because you do not have access to SVN, right? We'll just be seeing the workflow. I don't see this settings. It will be over there. I'll show it. I will show it again. You can see it over here. This is my forked repo. This one mb-yoast-seo. We have a settings tab over here. And when we click on the settings, we have these secrets and variables map. No, I have forked this repository. This is a forked repository. Was anyone else able to fork this? Okay, so you can connect to the miniOrange Wi-Fi. So I can do one thing. I can directly proceed, like how to add the action, and then we will see like what the action contains. It has a YAML file. We'll see the contents of that YAML file. Okay. So after, let's add a credential. So we need to add a secret for this particular repository. First one will be SVN username. That will be my username for SVN. This is not the actual username. Then we will add the SVN password. Okay, so we have added two secrets, one for username, SVN username, and the second one is for SVN password. So after that, what we need to do is go to the code, create this github.github/workflows folder. It will have our action.yaml file, release.yaml file. So we will see what are the contents of this file. So can everyone see this? Okay. So the first one is name for this YAML file. So we are releasing a new version on WordPress.org for a plugin. This is like when to trigger this action. So we will be triggering this on push in tags. Like when we are creating a new tag, like every plugin developer knows, like we maintain the plugin source code or plugin releases using tags. So whenever a new tag is released, we need to trigger this. So these are the jobs we have defined, like what to execute. So this is the tag. Okay. So the first one is release. It is the name of the job. it will run on the Ubuntu latest machine. So this is the container, or this is the OS which will be used, a Docker container, Docker image which will be used to execute these actions. So these are the steps. Like steps are like what we need to execute one after another. So first step is like we need to import something. So we are importing existing action of GitHub, that is actions/checkout@master. Like whenever someone is committing to this code, we are using this action. The next one is of 10up. This is an organization that has develops WordPress plugins. It is a quite big. They have their own action defined for pushing WordPress WordPress plugin releases. So we are using that. So this is the action name, action WordPress plugin deploy. This is the symbol setup. And after that, we need to mention our environment variables. So like which variables we need to pass for this action. So we are passing our SVN password from our GitHub secrets. The secrets.svn password is telling the GitHub that take the secrets from configured ones, and same with SVN username. And this is the slug of the plugin. So slug is unique for each plugin. It usually is same as folder name on the WordPress repository as well. So this is the slug of the plugin in case it is different from the folder name. In this case, it is. Okay. So after that, we will be committing this. We will go to the code again. So here we can see there are multiple tags. So we use tags for WordPress plugins. So we need to create a new tag for each release after merging those changes on master or any other branches being merged to the master. So what we will do, we will create a new release. So this is drafting a new release. This will be pushing new changes, or we can add any description over here. Then we can create, or then we can select an existing tag, or we can create a new tag. So our previous version was 1.3.11. Our latest version will be 1.3.12. So if the tag is not there, it will create a new tag. We can add some release notes as well, like if you'd like to add some, like what is being added in the current version or the current release. And then we simply have to publish this release. So when we click on this publish, an action will get triggered. So you can see over here. So it will automatically deploy your plugin to the WordPress plugin repository. We can add multiple things over there. We can add steps to automate the PHP test. We can add step to conduct security test using PHP CS and then deploy the plugin. If the tests are failing, the plugin will not be deployed. And if everything passes, if you have 100% success message for all the test cases or security cases, then only the plugin will get deployed. So it will take some time. It will not actually push to the SVN because we did not put the correct credentials, and I do not have the commit access or contributor access for this plugin. As you can see, the credentials are not correct. Okay, so does anyone has any question? What were your expectations before attending this session? Like, to be frank, like this was supposed to be a hands-on session, so you were expected to have your laptops and your repositories with you. But whatever we discussed about the theoretical part, like why do we need to do that, and how can we do that? How can we do that? Was everyone able to understand or catch something little about it? Okay. So does anyone has any question to ask or anything they'd like to discuss? Okay, so we created a action, right? So whenever we'll be committing or whenever we will be, yes, we right now we only had one step, just the release part. So we can add multiple steps. So for PHP testing or for unit testing, the second one will be security testing for like using PHP CS. PHP CS is usually used to conduct the security tests for WordPress plugins or what PHP for. Yeah, everything is open source. PHP CS is also open source. PHP unit is also open source. You can write there's Java. PHP CS is a security testing framework you can use to verify if your plugin is following or your file is following all the security guidelines. No, but more like a library we can install using Composer. The package basically. It is a package for security. No. It's a static analysis. It's same as SonarQube SonarQube for Java, like for any other language. It's same for PHP. And PHP unit is same as JUnit for PHP. Okay. So you can execute your unit test using that. And if you have any integration test, you can use Cypress. There's a framework called Cypress for PHP. That can be used for PHP. What PHP, there was no unit test. I'm not sure about that. No, PHP unit is as old as PHP. Yeah. But not many people who are writing the plugins or writing for WordPress, like they do not usually have WordPress PHP unit tests in their folder, in their repository. No, it's relatively easy in terms of WordPress, but most of the times people focus on the requirement rather than conducting all the tests. They just try to finish the work as soon as possible and deliver that, like a lot of us might have done in the past at once. So they forget about writing PHP tests and they think like I'll write it later, and then the code base is very much bigger to be. Okay. So basically, a WordPress plugin you can use using a single file. There's a file, we need to have some headers that will be identified by the WordPress, that this file is of the WordPress plugin. Then WordPress has a lot of custom hooks and actions that we can use to have kind of functionality basically. So if you search on what this site will do, it will give you a basic zip of the boilerplate plugin with all the things configured. So you can have your plugin name here. You can put the plugin slug. The plugin slug needs to be unique. Like it does not need to be duplicated, like which the plugins which are already on the repository, it will get conflicted and your plugin might get rejected for that. So plugin slug need to be unique. This is a plugin URL. Plugin URL can be, if you're creating a specific landing page for that plugin, you can put that over here. Author name will be your name. Author email will be your email in case something goes wrong with your plugin, or if someone is looking for the support, or if you are offering a premium version as well. So other email will be used. The next one is author URL, like if you have your own website. So in our case, the miniOrange has a lot of plugins, so we will be putting miniorange.com over here. Then plugin short description, like what your plugin is doing, like what is the functionality that is being extended by your plugin for the WordPress. I'll put something for the generates boilerplate basic. Yeah, for the custom plugin. Right? Yes, then you need to add that plugin on the WordPress and then continue the development. So you do not need to write all the headers and all this. Yes. It will give you a file structure and folder structure as well. It will have a source folder separate and test folder separate as well. So you can differentiate between your actual code and your test cases as well. Right. then you can directly add this, use this zip or upload this to your plugins folder in WordPress. So this is how it will look like when you upload that file in the WordPress. You have an option to activate that plugin or delete the plugin files. And the description, whatever we have put over here, it will be included in the README and in the description as well. Okay. So just okay. So make sure to submit your feedback on this link. Hope you had a good time. Thank you, guys.